Are you feeling the vibe? Well, about half of Americans are, and by vibe, we mean vibe session. It's a term that's gained popularity since about 2022 that helps describe the disparity between kind of what market reports say the economy is doing versus what real Americans are feeling by way of just how they have their personal lives and their personal finances impacted. So let's jump into a report. This is on CNBC. Basically the headline is concerns about inflation peak as Americans struggle to shake off a vibe session. Well, the good news is, the inflationary trends that we're seeing are starting to come down. It looks like there's really some relief that's going to be in hand, and already the Fed futures kind of market, which tracks, how likely the Fed is to cut their rate, is at about 100% chance of a rate cut from the Fed in September, maybe a quarter percent. There's a very small percentage of that market that thinks it might be more than a quarter percent. But all this to say, we are seeing signs that the economy is improving. However, the vibe session feeling basically helps indicate that that might not be the way that other people are feeling about it, and that there's still a concern about inflation. So the report goes on to kind of talk about many common things about how people feel about this, but the piece that I wanted to highlight was, this notion of what is happening with consumer spending as it relates to credit card spending. And one thing that we've seen in a variety of these reports is that we talk about consumer spending, those in kind of better economic standing, a higher income bracket, sometimes called the haves versus the have-nots. Well, their spending is a little more legitimate in that they're buying things to buy things, but there's an increasingly large part of the population that their spending is much more needs-based. They're having to be very conscientious about what things they buy, from where, and at what price. So, getting back to the report, one area where we're seeing this is record credit card debt. Not only a record amount of it, but the growth rate with which it accelerated. So we see this chart. It just takes us back to 2018, and we can kind of chart along how credit card debt has gone during the pandemic because we were all home and not really doing anything. Went down. Plus, savings rate was the highest it had been in a long, long time. Well, when we started to come out of it, we saw just this rapid, meteoric increase to now we're at kind of a really super high level. And so, what this tells us is this might be one more reason why people are feeling the vibe session. So we have ways around this, both from the standpoint of people who want to become homeowners. We can certainly give some basic advice on how to build a plan if people are thinking in the future they want to buy. For current homeowners, because there's so much equity, a record amount of equity. I think the average now is about $299,000 in equity as a national average. Obviously, that varies house by house, but it's a huge number. And so if you or someone you know is also struggling with kind of record credit card debt, that may kind of sprung up out of nowhere, we can use that equity for good. We can get that reduced, and we can even find ways to get the house paid off even faster than it was and get folks out of debt. So all of this helped to shake that vibe to a better vibe, and that's what we're here to do, is provide peace of mind in all ways. So let us know if you have any questions. We appreciate you. Thanks.